the second half of Chapter 1, Lesson 6, and what we're going to do is talk about the composition of functions. You've done this several times. We did it in Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. Just a little FYI here, you guys usually call it the fog, so let's talk about it. The composition symbol is the little circle. So usually you write it as F composite G of X or G composite F of X. So you guys knew it as fog whenever you did it. That's usually the way the classes always say it. But what you're doing is you're plugging in G of X into F of X. You're just plugging it in. Or if it's G composite F, you're going to plug in, here's G, and you're plugging in F of X into G. So it's really simple. I mean, you guys have done this for years and years, so let's do an example, okay? So what we're going to say is F of X equals X squared plus 1. And then we're going to say G of X is X minus 4. So what we need to find is we need to find F composite of G of X. Okay, that's the first one we're going to find. So the easiest way for me when I do it is I write it F of G of X. So that's the easiest way for me to write it. So what I do is, well, what is G of X? Well, G of X is X minus 4. So what I'm going to find is F of X minus 4. And now it's just plugging expressions into expressions, which we've done this now already like 4 or 5 times this year alone. So I'm just going to write this up here. If F of X is X squared plus 1, then what's F of X minus 4? So what's replacing X? X minus 4 squared plus 1. And now it's just simple algebra. So just remember, this is X minus 4 plus 1. This is FOIL, if you remember. So X squared minus 8X plus 16, so that's the foiling, and then plus 1. So I get X squared minus 8X plus 17. And that is that answer. So F composite of G is X squared minus 8X minus 17. Now what would happen if I flipped it? Let's figure out G composite of F of X. So I'm going to do G of F of X. Well, what's F of X? Well, F of X is X squared plus 1. So G of X squared plus 1. And so if we know, I'm going to do it down here. So if we know G of X is X minus 4, what is G of X squared plus 1? Which is right here. So what replaces X? X squared plus 1. So X squared plus 1. And then I got my minus 4. I simplify that and I get X squared minus 3. So there is the G composite of F. Alrighty. Now, if I wanted to figure out restrictions and stuff, this one obviously doesn't have restrictions. You're asking yourself, what can X not be? We don't know. I mean, X can be everything here. X can be everything here. I'm going to go ahead and erase this. So let's pretend I have F of X equals 1 over X plus 1. And G of X equals 2X. I'm going to make this one really simple. And I want to find F composite of G. And this time I have to state the restrictions. So what can the domain not equal? So f of g of x, well, what's g of x? Well, g of x is 2x. So what am I plugging into f? 2x. So I get 1 over 2x plus 1. So that's the answer, but what's the restrictions? Well, the restrictions are, what can x not equal? Well, you have to look at all of it. Well, what can x not equal here? Well, x can't equal -1 because that will equal 0 in the denominator. So far I have x cannot equal -1. Well, what else can x not equal? Well, I'm going through all of this. Well, x can't equal -1/2. -1/2. So this answer, f of 2 of x, or FOG, would be 1 over 2x plus 1, and x cannot equal -1 and -1/2. Pretty simple. The last thing, and I always say this is way easier, is what happens if it's not x? What if they want you to find, let's make this really simple here. Here's f of x equals x plus 3, and g of x equals 2x minus 1. And what we want to find is f composite of g, instead of x, of 2. So this time I have a number. You can do the whole composite thing, plugging in to plugging in, but this is what I've always learned is easier. What you're going to do is I need to find f, and then instead of g of x, I'm going to find g of 2. So what is g of 2? Well, plug in 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. So now I'm going to find f of g of 2 is 3. So now I have to find f of 3. Well, plug in 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. And there's your answer. So the answer is 6. So the homework was 1.6, page 61, 15 through 28. I will have the 1.5 and 1.6 quiz here ready in the next day.